Start. Hello everyone. How are you? How are you? Thank you for coming. I know it's your valuable time. Yeah. My name is Namu Kim. I'm the senior migration agent at Soredo Migration. So I think maybe some of you guys are a bit familiar. That means you attended the last seminar. But even bit of a short time, there are lots of changes and updates. So today I may give you some updates and then also explain about how the Australia migration policy gonna be changed. So yeah, that policy and law must be changed, right? Must be changed. They must accommodate current demand based on the political change and economic change as well. But to be honest, there are too many changes in Australia migration policy. So even like me, expert, like a migration agent and lawyers is a bit busy to catch up the new changes as well. So today, I'm going to talk about what has been changed and what is going to be changed as well. And then give you some trend and not the solution. I'm not a magician, right? Not a solution, but we'll give you some directions that how Australian government is moving toward. Then you may know what is very important things for your side to prepare and make some additional opportunity to migrate to Australia. Okay? So that's I'm a little bit talk about the policy and the migration reform, and also I'm talking about the expectations in this year, because all the quota is already announced, and then luckily last week the state nomination quota is also allocated. So you guys clearly know which state is the winning state. So yeah, I'll be talking about the expectation, and then also talking about the migration key points that you can prepare better based on that information. And the last part is question and answer session. So during the seminar, I may not take any questions and then quickly finish all the content, but I will spend roughly more than 15 minutes time on the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, and then please wait, and then I will give you the answer. And if I cannot give you the question and answer time, then I may be outside and give you some more time as well. And today, like some of you guys may feel like, oh, Australia policy is very difficult. Then things that we have a New Zealand office. So the migration has a New Zealand office, and we invite the New Zealand schools. And first, it's maybe the first time that we invite the New Zealand migration agent as well. So the New Zealand migration agents also having a time to provide the individual consultation. So if you have a time and they want to know more about the New Zealand migration policy and options, so you can go out and then talk with our staff and ask them to support the migration counseling as well. She has a bit of time today, so you guys have opportunity to meet the New Zealand migration agent as well. I'm specializing in Australia, but I can still give you some limited information. But today, you have opportunity to meet the New Zealand migration agent. Okay, this is a policy change. You see, the administration of the Immigration and Citizenship Program always published for the public. It's a kind of the open information, but you see how many times they reform? Within a year, they changed 3 times. And then last year, December, they released the migration strategy. This paper clearly explains how Australian government will operate the migration policy in next 10 years. So if I read all the pages, if we clearly understand about this paper, then we may have a better preparation for the future migration options. So that's why all the content today I discuss, basically the information comes from the paper they produced. And maybe before I move there, then I'll give you my story as well. So I come to Australia in 2008. Then, I enjoy the Australian life. So I come to agency as well. Then kind of consultation about my master degree options. Okay, easy. I have a skilled wife, and then my wife has Australia relatives, the citizenship. So at that time, I could have the extra point. Okay, I graduate then. My point is reached to the migration point automatically if I complete the master degree. So okay, it's worth to try. And then, my part-time job make a lot of money compared to my home country, Korea. So okay, mom, you need just half support. Then I will make it half. Then I started. But during my master study, 2 times changes. There are big changes. So relative doesn't give any point. And that's why after graduation, I had to apply the graduate visa. And then I have to reach the English score or blah, blah, blah. Finally, I got a permanent visa and then citizenship. What I want to say is, even 15 years ago, for me, it was difficult. From my experience over the 15 years in this industry, then there are only one time that migration policy was very generous and easy to migrate, easy to accept, is right after COVID. But before the COVID, to be honest, it wasn't really easy. So the people who got the opportunity in last few years, then they may say, I graduate, then I could get the invitation to apply the permanent visa. It's true, because it happened. But before the COVID and now, it's not. So now people saying, Australian government become very difficult to get the permanent visa. But for me, it's difficult compared to the right after COVID. But compared to the before the COVID, it's similar. It's because the statistics clearly shows the numbers. So I will show all the numbers together today, okay? This is the very important figure that you may need to understand. We call the NOM, NOM. So it's a net overseas migration forecast. So NOM is the net gain or loss of the population through the immigration to Australia and immigration from Australia. So it's in and out number. So there are more ins, then it's a plus. And more out means negative, minus. So Australia always have a migration policy, so they have always plus number, quite big number. But in this stage, they expect around the 400K, but was about the 600K, roughly, at that time. And this number is only calculated based on the temporary visa holder, not the permanent visa holder, okay? So means how many temporary visa holder was in Australia? It was exactly 580, blah, blah, blah. So it's the largest number in Australia migration history. So that's why government want to control this number, to be honest. Again, this number is based on the temporary visa holders. They count every single temporary visa holders who lived in Australia more than 12 months within 18 months. So if they control this temporary visa holders number, automatically the permanent visa application will be dropped. And then overall population will be a little bit balanced. So before the COVID, that we have around this much figure. So their aim is reducing down the NOM to near to the pre-COVID level. So that's the aim. How they gonna do? Temporary visa holders number, how they gonna control? Simply make it difficult. So they made a lot of action plan to reduce the NOM. And then this key action plan is exactly on the migration paper that I showed at the first. So that's why it is very important to understand how the Australian migration policy gonna be changed in the future. So let me start with the student visa. So there are massive changes in student visa already. And you guys may heard that, lots of the visa refusal and processing delay. But to be honest, the government actually introduced the new genuine student requirement system from the March this year. But since then, for our side, our company side, we actually have a more grant rate. So this one become a bit more strict for the certain countries, and then the students who has a very long history in Australia, it may be a little bit difficult to get the student visa. But for the very genuine students who really want to study and migrate later on, then we see the high grant rate as well. And the student visa for certain country, the students from certain country, and then apply for the certain schools, then they need English score to apply student visa. It was 5.5, but now it became 6.0. So they make it difficult. And even you guys know that before the July, even graduate visa holder or tourist visa holder can change it to the student visa in Australia. But from the July this year, not anymore. So students, the graduate visa holders and tourist visa holders, they cannot change the student visa in Australia. So they must go back to their home country and apply the student visa from the. Why? Because the government want to reduce down the NOM. And another one that you guys know that the student visa fee, right? It has been increased to the 1,600. And then if we are holding the COVID visa, pandemic visa, or you already applied another temporary visa in Australia, like a student visa and tourist visa in Australia, and you are holding that visa and apply additional student visa, there will be extra $700. So visa application fee will be $2,300. Ooh, it's very expensive, right? So I also could see that many of students are considering, do I need to really apply the student visa for study or have to come back, something like that. So that's what immigration really want to reduce the total number. So that's why they make it difficult, they make it expensive. And also the university already, the government already announced that from the next year, January, all the schools, especially university, they will have an international students cap, kind of the limit. But they didn't provide a very specific information. But anyway, they will introduce and then start from the January. So if we are considering to apply the university and you want to study in university or college in next year, I really recommend you to apply and then grab the place as quickly as possible because CAB will introduce soon. And then the last one, again, that you may hear from your classmate, you may hear from your sharemate and friends. Now the processing time is very slow, and then there are lots of refusals for the visa from student visa application. So you must make sure that you choose the correct course and then prepare about the student visa application with many different supporting documents. So like last year, this is my statement for study, then grant, no, not happen anymore. So you have to very carefully prepare all the student visas. Another one, the graduate visas. This is a very important visa. So usually, like me, that once I complete the study, then I have to prepare the permanent visa, right? But I don't have a visa because my student visa is finished once my course is finished. Then Australian government always giving the option for the graduate visa. So usually students change it to the graduate visa and they prepare their permanent visas on the graduate visa. But this graduate visa requirement become very strict. Why? Want to reduce the numbers. So from July, the age limit has been changed. So now the previously graduate visa age limit was 50, but now it became 35. So if you become 36, you cannot apply. Until 35, you can apply. 35. So lots of the mid 30 age or the beginning of 30 age, they actually come for us to get the consultation about New Zealand today because they don't have options, even though they study because of age. But New Zealand, they have no kind of the age limit, maybe 55 something. So still, some of the like mid-age students can still have a huge opportunity to migrate to the New Zealand. And it's very interesting that right before they make a change, they introduce many different additional graduate visas. So we feel like, oh, Australia migration policy become very generous. So let's say my students who complete the nursing, IT, they got a graduate visa for 5 years, 4 years. But now they all remove that additional benefit. So only the regional area, the students who complete their study in regional area in the university level, and they can extend 1 more year for their 1 or 2 more year on their graduation visa. So mass course, previously the graduate visa duration was 3 years, but it already back to normal for 2 years. And then English requirement was 6.0 overall, but now it became 6.5. So since it has been introduced, I have many clients couldn't reach the IELTS to apply the graduate visa. So if any of you guys are currently study, and then even though you are very confident about your English, but the exam is different, right? So please make sure to prepare IELTS before you complete your study. Very important. Now, again, student visa extension may give you the visa refusal. So you must apply the graduate visa within your current student visa. So please make sure to prepare your English test before your graduation. And another one, but it's a bit of the good and bad news for the TSS visa. So TSS visa is one of the most popular employer-sponsored visa in Australia. So the basic requirement is they must hold that related qualification, degree certificate, and 2 years experience, full-time based 2 years experience to apply this TSS visa. But from 23rd of November this year, in July, they announced that this work experience requirement will be changed to the 1 year. So I feel like they certainly open up a little bit space for the international students to giving the option for the TSS visa. Anyway, it's confirmed because they announced the specific date as well. So from the 23rd of November, TSS visa work experience requirement become a 1 year, not the 2 year. However, at the same time, we call the TSMIT. It's the salary requirement for TSS visa. Previously, it was 53K something, 54K for the annual salary to apply the TSS visa, but it changed to the 70K. But now it has been changed again. So if you want to apply the TSS visa, then your employer must giving your salary at least annual salary at least 70-30, 150. It's quite big money, right? So lots of restaurants and small and middle-sized business, the employers a little bit hesitate to giving the sponsorship options. Yeah, this is the very recent announcement for the TSS visa. And they have announced that they will change the point test system as well. So at the moment, all the skilled visa, they must collect the point from the age qualification, experience, English skill, and partner skill, then they must reach to the 65 point to start skilled visa preparation. So they can start the EOI and things from the 65 point. But they already announced they will change, but they haven't released the very specific information yet. But they will change and release the new information soon. So from the report, what I can see is they will try to giving the point with a high-skilled person. So they may look into the qualification and English skill and the experience, and also they may look into the partner's English skill and then the work experience things as well, maybe. Yeah. Because the family migrant, they start to look into the partner's skills as well. So the current system, again, is similar that if partner has a skill and English, then they have a 10 point. And then the faster pathway for students graduate in skilled job. So they will give the direct pathway. Also, but if the students are now working in the skilled and demanding job, then they will have a few the pathway options. So that's why all the point is based on the work experience and English skill, and also age as well. So all the entire report clearly, several times they mention young skilled person, young skilled person. So yeah, we can't say it's a discrimination because it's their strategy to boost the Australian economy. So, but again, the age will be also one of the factors that they will change soon. But today, you don't need to remember anything, to be honest. But at least you must understand about the skill in demand visa. This will be the main visa in the future. So now, the TSS visa is the kind of the main visa under the employer sponsor visa side. But skilled in demand visa will be it will replace to the TSS visa. So when the report released about the skilled in demand visa, I thought, and a lot of people thought, that this new visa will be introduced soon in this year. But again, what happened in July? They suddenly announced to change the TSS visa work experience requirement. And then it is start from the 23rd of November. So it makes me panic. What's the correct information? They said skilled in demand visa, and then they said they will introduce soon. And it replaced the TSS visa. But on July, they suddenly mentioned about the TSS visa requirement. And then it is introduced from the 23rd of November. So means maybe skill in demand visa will be introduced not early future, but maybe end of next year or following year. So still, TSS visa will be your main visa, but in the future, skilled in demand visa will be very important. Under the skilled in demand visa, we have three different streams. The first pathway is the essential skills pathway. So this is the great visa option for the care-related industry workers. But usually, those workers are having an annual salary less than 70K, to be honest. So that's why they make a separate stream, but they don't care about the salary in this pathway. But the role and position and business is very important. They must be in crucial care role, such as aged care in childhood. But at the moment, we already have an aged care labor agreement. It is also belong to the TSS visa, but it will be same. Maybe child care labor agreement will be under the essential skill pathway. And then now, the construction area, we really need people to work. So they may adjust some skill area and then fit into the construction labor agreement, something like this. Anyway, this is a essential skill pathway that government analyze, and if they need specific workers in this industry, but that industry cannot meet the salary requirement for the other professional occupation, position, then they may use this pathway. So salary is not really important in this area, and maybe far less than 73K is okay. But core skills pathway, this is very similar to the current TSS visa. And now that we have a medium and long-term skilled occupation list and short-term occupation list and regional occupation list, it's confused, right? So they will actually make only one occupation list for new visa, which is core skilled occupation list. So to apply this core skilled pathway, your position must be under the CSOL, core skilled occupation list. On the website, we can already see the draft of the occupation list. So now a lot of students who are currently studying cookery are worried about the situation because chef is out of the occupation list. But to be honest, from my experience, accountant and chef was always flagged occupation. So it's not a complete, occupation list. So I don't think it's gonna be removed, but let's see. But anyway, they already released the information about the CSOL, but that list hasn't confirmed yet. So the government is leaving all the occupations, and they will actually provide the final list when they operating these visas. But this core skilled pathway is the salary range between 73K and 135K. If you having a more than 135K annual salary, then you will have another pathway for specialist skills pathway for certain occupation. This will be the direct pathway for the maybe permanent visa, something like that. So they identify highly skilled professionals earning over 135K annually. But that's why, even though you earn more than that one, but your occupation is a bit of a lower level occupation. Lower level means not about the good or bad occupation, but in Australia, they already classified all the occupation level. So if there is under the maybe lower than level 3, then they may not apply these visas. But again, this is a guideline that we can see now, but they will provide a more detailed information soon. And then again, this visa will be your main visa in the future, to be honest. And this skilled in demand visa actually having a very positive news as well. Let's say under the TSS visa, then we can't say it's guaranteed because the employer always have a decision. Let's say I'm on the TSS visa, but if my employer doesn't give another sponsorship for the permanent visa, I cannot apply the permanent visa. So employer is always here, and I'm here. So my employer say, Namo, you have to work today and Saturday, but they don't get paid. Can I complain to my employer? Yes, but not very aggressively, right? Because they are the key person to giving my sponsorship for the permanent visa. So that's why not all business, but few business using that visa. So they review that kind of thing and then produce many different policies. So now it is guaranteed the permanent visa pathway. And they can change the employer, and then sponsor approved employer information will be on the website. So let's say I was a chef in this the skilled in demand visa, but my employer had some issues. Then I'll quit the job and search my postcode and see the other restaurant who are currently sponsoring. So I can easily select and discuss and go through the visa again, then apply the permanent visa. And the employer side, they always have some of the burden that have to pay this much of money at the time of nomination application. So they always think about the money. But TSS visa, they don't provide any installment option. But skilled in demand visa, they will provide installment option for the employer. So employer little bit have a less financial like a requirement to apply the visa. And then again, that if I have an issue with the employer, then under the current TSS visa, I have to find another new employer and lodge the new nomination in 2 months, like 60 days. But for the new visa, they said they will give enough time to find a new employer, 180 days. So there are lots of positive information in this visa as well. And another keyword in the paper that I can identify was the regional. So 2018, there was big changes in Australia immigration policy. So they introduced two regional visas, 491 and 494 visa. When they start operating that two visas, COVID actually hit the Australia and of the world. So they couldn't operating those regionally related visas very well because of the COVID. Right after COVID, before they look after regional area, even main city like Melbourne and Sydney, they must prioritize those big cities to become normal. So that's why again they couldn't look after regional area. So entire their system and plan was destroyed because of the COVID pandemic. So in this paper, they are keep mentioning again about the regional area. So they said they will allocate more and more quota for the regional visas. And also they will prioritize the processing for the regional visas. At the moment, the regional visa is the lowest, the priority. But they said they will prioritize the regional visas. And also, they will have a very strict monitoring system in the regional area, so the employee can work without any discrimination and things. So anyway, on the paper, you can see at least more than 50 times about the regional area. So I believe they really want to focus more on about the regional area. And 2024 and 2025, what happened? They already announced about the migration program planning level. What you can find from that information is the skilled visa category. You can see this is last year and this is this year from July to next June. Like Australia, the financial year is start from July to June. So if you can see, the employer sponsor visa, even more quota in this year. And then total, it's 5,000 less, but not like we worried much, right? So the media and everyone said, it's very hard, no hope, no dream. But when you see the numbers, they're not really different compared to the last year. But last year, compared to the previous year was quite different, to be honest. But what I want to say is that this number is exactly similar to the pre-COVID situation. So after COVID, too many permanent visa was issued, and all students' visa is granted. So, but who make their one? They make their one, right? They actually caused that problem, and then they now blame to the international students. So they make all the policy back again. But again, what I want to say again is, yes, it's difficult. It becomes difficult. But compared to the pre-COVID, that is similar. Then pre-COVID, that everyone study and have opportunity to apply the permanent visas. But for the state nomination side, this is entire skilled visa, but this is a state nomination or location. We are in Brisbane, we are in Queensland. Look at the number. Jesus, right? Seriously. It's my first time to see the Queensland is lowest quota. 600 for the 190 and 600 for the 491. How many students graduate? How many students are working in Queensland? But they only have this one. This is because Brisbane is I think they believe that it's overpopulated because a lot of people from Sydney and Melbourne moving to the Brisbane. Because my daughter's schools, they also having a similar problem that many new students are coming, but they are mostly from Brisbane, not other like a Queensland or Brisbane. They are actually from Sydney and Melbourne. Lots of movement from the interstate. So even though 600 is too small, but again, this one is the number for 2024 July to the 2025 June, right? So if you are about to graduate, you may a little bit worry. Otherwise, this is keep changing. Keep changing. But this year, everyone accept that PUS, WA, is the winning state. And then they have a 491 state nomination option for the students outside of the WA as well. So lots of EOI is coming through WA state. Like this, every year, state nomination quota is changing, and then requirement is changing. So if you are planning about the permanent visa option, then you have to closely monitor all the figures. And last week, right? Maybe last week, the minister has been changed. Finally, goodbye, O'Neill. Finally, but this guy. So, but no one had a great expectation for the new minister. And then even the media, he already confirmed that he's supporting the policy that made the previous minister. So we can't expect significant change, but we really hope he does not make worse policy for the international students. But so far, looks okay from my side. So these are the recent changes and then allocation quota information. Then what do we have to prepare for the permanent visa? Maybe that I can say the regional visas. Why you are living in the regional area? Then what kind of benefit? You have extra 1 or 2 years of the graduate visa, which give you more opportunity to build up the work experience and finding the employer. And if you are living and working in the regional area, another 2 visa options will be attached to your visa. So 491, 494 visa will be available in regional area. And extra 5-point migration, the migration point, but again, this will be increased to 10 points maybe. And there are lots of DAMA, designated area migration agreements. So this agreement is specifically for the certain regional area. It's not for all regional area, but anyway, like a Cairns in Queensland, their DAMA area have a more benefit. And state nomination point for the 491, if approved, then you have an extra 15 points. So with minimum 50 points, you can start the EOI, which is very great. And again, priority processing. They will prioritize your application when they are assessing the visa. And importance of English skill will be emphasized again and again. So over the 15 years, when I look into this industry, the 2 things always changing in the same time. It's about the English, importance of English, and then experience. It's same. It's not going to be changed. So the English that everyone is, again, the IELTS, they have options like a 1 skill retake. So if you have a 1 skill is less than point, then you can take only 1 skill again. Then except the graduate visa and then TSS visa or other visa is accepted for the 1 skill retake. but not for certain visas. But skilled visa, yes, they accept the one skill retake. And then PTE is become the most popular English test because it has a relatively higher score than IELTS. So many people now shifting from IELTS to the PTE. So think about it. And job, all the visas they will introduce is related with the job. And then what kind of job give more information. So very skilled, the skilled area, then and the earning more than 135K, they have a direct pathway. We see the skilled in demand visa, right? And even though salary is low, but the occupation shows a very strong demand in care sector, then they can also go through the skilled in demand visa. So that's why job is very important, to be honest. And this is a kind of conclusion, to be honest. Then now, after COVID, no one think about the 491. It's a regional area state nomination visa. Everyone think about the skilled independent and state nominate visa. But before the COVID, everyone is moving to the regional area for 491 because 491 has less competition and more opportunity. But right after COVID, even though city area 189, 190, huge invitation was issued. So that's why no one want to move to there. But now we have to think about again regional area again. I've mentioned several times. And core skilled occupation is maybe game changer, I think. So, but we don't have in the final list yet. But you have to clearly, closely monitor those occupation, and study in regional area and English score and job skill related job. So, what I want to say is, let's say you study nursing. If you study nursing, right after COVID, everyone got an invitation with a very minimum score, right? But was before the COVID, no. Was it competition, even for nurse and doctors? It was competition there. So during your study, if you are like how can I say, you worked in the restaurant and work as a barista for a long time, then during your nursing study, because you make good money from the restaurant, so if you continue to work as a barista, then I think how you can find a job as a nurse later on. So even though you get less pay and you are not familiar about the new job, but you have to find the nurse-related job, like AIN. That's very basic things, but not many international students are aware about that part. I see that many people I had a separate nursing seminar and everyone said, oh, I'll work in different things. But again, for the nursing or anything that you are preparing the permanent visa, please find related occupation while you are studying. Yeah, this is the most of the current update, so we can have a Q&A sessions. So anyone has a questions?
So as you said about like competition, so let's say like I'm working as a waitress or bartender at the pub now. Well, like after I switch to student visa and like going to like TAFE and like I don't know, let's say like I'm studying about like the childcare or something like that. And then like while I'm studying at the TAFE, and then like TAFE has good like experience, like internship.
Oh yeah, placement, yeah.
Right. So in that case, like I still need to find any, the occupation is related to aged care.
Yeah, the vocational placement is very limited. You will have a maximum 400 hours. But based on the placement experience, you find a casual or part-time job during your student visa, then might be they give you more opportunity later on.
So how about volunteering? Like I'm just keep like working as like waitress at the pub, but like at the same time I'm like working as a volunteering to like aged care.
But
like
aged care and child care is quite different. But your study will be child care. Then I recommend volunteering is good, but in child care sector. Then you don't make money and it doesn't give you any point, but it gives you more opportunity because your resume, CV clearly mention about your volunteering experience. And if I'm the employer, I prefer to hire you other than other students who doesn't have related experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any question? Not about this, any migration related question, it's okay? No, New Zealand, I'm not really familiar with New Zealand, but outside there we have a New Zealand migration agent, so. Okay, okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the ACT is the very special state that they have their own system. So under the ACT matrix, there are different requirements. So if you have a related experience, you will have more point. But if not, there is a still experience point in the working in ACT. So there are many different categories of the work experience. But let's say if you are chef, and chef is under the ACT, priority occupation list, and then you work as a chef in ACT, you have 20 points. But your occupation is not related with any skilled occupation list or your occupation, then you still have maybe 5 points or something like that. So ACT have their own criteria. So what's your occupation you're preparing for ACT? Okay. Yeah. 30 hours, yep, yep. Yeah, again, that is one category, but there are another category that if you work in that area, in skilled occupation area, you will have extra 20 points. Then I highly recommend if you cannot find the related one, it might be difficult. Might be difficult. Any other question? Okay, thank you. So now that our school consultation will start, if you check the paper and if your consultation time is booked on 1 p.m., then you can now leave and then talk with our